CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the search for suspects in St. Thomas and Aylmer. Police say they're wanted for a series of distraction thefts, and as Brian Bicknell reports, their scheme was caught on camera.
It was at this Aylmer variety store late in the morning of September 8th. Ruchik Patel was working the counter when security video shows what happened next. He says a customer told him forms were needed for the self-serve lottery kiosk. He goes to get those new forms while the man reaches into the lottery display and grabs a handful. Another opportunity, and he does it again. Later in the day, the store comes up short.
And my colleague told me after, we did not sell it for scratch tickets. So how can it's possible for a shortage?
They checked the video, and sure enough, they'd been ripped off.
But first time I had a this kind of situation, so I'm so upset.
He wasn't the only victim. Another distraction theft happened at this Aylmer variety store just a short distance away. According to both St. Thomas and Aylmer police, 2 suspects have been identified and charged by way of warrant in connection to multiple distraction thefts in the area.
This one's a new one. Obviously, things change and there's different techniques and different things that come from time to time, but in my time, this is the first distraction lotto theft that I've come to know.
54-year-old Robert Dobre from the GTA is charged with 4 counts of failing to comply and 2 counts of theft under $5,000. The driver of a white Lexus SUV involved in the incidents has been identified as 54-year-old Ahmed Al-Ahmad of Mississauga. He's been charged with being a party to the offense and 2 counts of theft under $5,000. Police say while they're relatively new here in Elgin, distraction thefts are becoming more and more common. In fact, the suspect in this case, accused of actually taking the lottery tickets, well, he's wanted in 8 different police jurisdictions across Ontario and Quebec. Patel says in his store, the suspect got 2 $50 and 2 $30 scratch tickets. In Ontario, typically the maximum any store can give out in lottery winnings is $600.
Quick money, quick turnaround, even if it is lower denominations. And generally, property crime like this usually fuels some type of a drug addiction and a habit. So the quick turnaround for cash is usually the reward.
Police say both suspects are at large with warrants out for their arrest. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
London police are investigating a crash in the city's East End from late this afternoon. It happened just before 4:30 p.m. on Beckworth Avenue between Lancaster and Langton. Emergency crews say a male of unspecified age was hit by a paratransit bus driver. Neighbors told CTV News he was riding a motorized scooter. Police say he was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries. A major restoration project is in the works for the iconic Bud Gowan Antiques building. Daryl Newcomb has more on the new owners and what they have planned.
After years of decay, a new era is beginning for the former Bud Gowan Antiques building on Clarence Street after it was recently acquired by Sept Commercial.
The bones are good. We've had structural inspection of the building. It'll be mostly predominantly interior renovations.
Constructed in 1892, the former factory for women's corsets is best known as the location of Bud Gowan Antiques until its closure in 2012. What followed were more than a decade of failed restorations, vacancy, and neglect. Recently, Sept Commercial received approval from City Hall to construct 12 apartments on the top 3 floors, and the main floor will be renovated to meet the needs of a future commercial tenant.
We do have some room for commercial space on the main level here with residential up top, but we're hoping for architecturally to really preserve what we already have here.
And the commitment to the heritage of the building extends all the way to the mural on the outside, save and except for a couple of windows that need to be installed. Sept Commercial has experience completing similar restoration projects in other Ontario downtowns. and the firm has nothing but praise for the assistance provided by London City Hall to get the project to the starting line.
Oh, actually quite incredible. They were very welcoming and very accommodating, providing meetings and consultations.
And Sept Commercial says 387 Clarence might just be the start of a growing presence in London.
London is a bit new to us, and if things do go well, because as Andre was mentioning, Your city council has been very supportive the whole way through with open arms, and we did like to see that. And if this does go well, you could see us here in the future in other projects.
Construction is slated to begin in November, with apartments ready to rent in 12 to 18 months. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
A St. Thomas company announced expanded operations this morning, looking to build on a reputation as a Canadian leader in modular wood construction. With more, here's Jerry Dewan.
It's an expansion that's been in the works for more than a year, but it couldn't have come at a better time as the province looks for ways to endure U.S. tariffs.
By ensuring strategic supply chains are developed in Ontario with Ontario workers, we continue to secure the province's place as the single most competitive jurisdiction in the entire G7.
Element 5 uses lumber forested in northern Ontario and incorporates it into modular building components made from laminated and cross-laminated wood.
They know that we are a way for the forestry industry to move from really a commodity product to something that's more value add and really change the outcome of what the forestry industry can do and how it can tie into modular housing.
The Element 5 expansion happens at a time when not only is there a need for more residential structures, but for those structures to go up faster.
Our affordable housing series that we did in Kitchener, the YWCA, we got the building up in about 18 days, which is by far the fastest in the industry, and really changed the whole trajectory of how that building's built.
The province has taken a lead by changing legislation and regulations to open the door for use of modular wood in high-rise buildings.
To go from 4 to 6 to 12 to 14 stories, and now we're looking even higher because we know that land is expensive, and once you've serviced in front of a piece of property, you might as well be going up.
Element 5 partnered with Austrian-based Hostlocker, which has a long history with modular wood building products. They combined to fund the $107 million expansion.
Now we're tripling the size of the square footage and doubling the capacity of the line from 40,000 cubic meters to 80,000 cubic meters. So our trajectory just keeps going up and up and up every year.
The tour says it will also mean an additional 150 jobs at the facility. In St. Thomas, Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
One of London's most storied high schools is marking a milestone anniversary this weekend. With more on the special events coming up at Catholic Central, here's Sean Irvin.
Catholic Central High School, or as it's more commonly known, CCH, is turning 75. Long considered the hub of Catholic education in London, CCH is known to be an academic and athletic powerhouse. It is a reputation that will be celebrated during multiple events for current and former students and staff this Saturday. First up, a noon-hour church service, followed by an open house at the school from 1 until 3. It will feature not only tours, but a chance to relive the past.
There's going to be tons of archival footage, photography. We're going to have videos constantly being played in the background with that archival footage.
Many of those memories will touch on school milestones, academic achievements, famous alumni, sports dominance, music, and faith visits.
Our choir traveled to Rome and sang in a personal audience with the Pope twice. We put on major school productions.
But the memories extend beyond the campus. Through the decades, CCH students have raised funds and volunteered to help London.
It's usually CCH that you're going to see on the front lines as far as contribution, as far as just achievements in general.
It's just such a wonderful spirit that the school has and the attitude it has.
The reunion will conclude with evening social events off campus. In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
The Bank of Canada announced its first interest rate cut since March today. At 2.5%, it's as low as it's been in years. With more on the rationale behind the cut, here's Mike Lucatur.
With global economic growth showing signs of slowing, Tiff Macklem says much of the uncertainty is because of the trade war with the U.S.
Tariffs are weakening the Canadian economy.
Canada's central banker couldn't be more blunt, as exports dropped by 27% in the second quarter of this year and inflation rose by 1.9%. Tiff Macklem and his team decided it was best to lower interest rates.
Canadians remain concerned about the cost of living, and our primary mandate is to maintain low, stable inflation and we are very focused on that.
Well, Canada's GDP declined by 1.6% in the second quarter, and some forecasts have the rest of the year looking flat, leading some economists to use the R word.
The term is technical recession, where there's two negative quarters. Well, certainly we're pretty well there. The third quarter, it's going to be flat at best.
The central bank disagrees, predicting modest growth in the second half of the year. But Macklem says that could change depending on what comes from the U.S.
Where there's a significant escalation of tariffs, U.S. tariffs, in that scenario, the Canadian economy does go into recession.
The effects of the trade war are also being felt in the U.S., where job gains have slowed and inflation ticked up. It's why the U.S. Federal Reserve recommended cutting its interest rate by 25 basis points on Wednesday. And while the decisions in each country are made independently, it does provide some perspective.
You know, we talk about we got a big deficit in debt. Well, theirs is way bigger than ours are.
The Bank of Canada's next rate decision is in October, but it's unclear if there will be another cut then. With the federal budget expected November 4th, Macklem could wait to see the scope of government spending before cutting the interest rate again. Mike Lecoulteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
Ontario's Financial Accountability Officer is predicting a substantial increase to the province's deficit to the tune of billions of dollars just this year. However, government officials are still claiming they'll balance their budget within the next 3 years. Siobhan Morris has more on whether that math adds up.
In the midst of a trade war with no end on the horizon, Ontario's Financial Accountability Officer shares a prediction of the province's finances marked by lots of red ink.
The FAO projects that the budget balance will deteriorate from an estimated deficit of $1.3 billion last year to a deficit of $12 billion in this fiscal year.
That's based on a few different factors.
From a projected 1.7% decline in revenue due to a slowing economic outlook and the loss of temporary revenues, combined with a 3.1% increase in spending.
A spokesperson for the Minister of Finance stresses this report's only a snapshot in time, writing in part, as highlighted in the 2025 budget, we remain on a clear path to balance by 2027-28 as we work to protect our economy and make Ontario the most competitive place to do business in the entire G7.
Today, we learned this budget was a fiction. It's not worth the paper it's written on.
The FAO adds that to make the math work, there will have to be changes.
In 3 years, the government is forecasting a balanced budget. We think it, based on our review, it's closer to a deficit of $10 billion. So to achieve that $10 billion gap, it's either revenue measures or spending changes.
Higher taxes or deeper cuts. The caveat is there remains a lot of uncertainty with the trade picture. So a policy change south of the border could dramatically shift these figures. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
A whole weekend of events has been planned around the city leading up to International Car-Free Day.
Monday is an International Car-Free Day, and we've added some extra activities on Friday, Saturday, Sunday throughout the weekend.
Organizers are encouraging people to make use of active travel options to get around the city. This weekend, there will be Thames Valley Parkway tours and a bicycle rodeo on Saturday outside Earl Nichols Arena, which includes a bike safety check, helmet fittings, and a skills course.
The core of this is really about independence and freedom, building healthy habits and showing an alternative and building some of these habits at a younger age so they can continue on into adulthood.
Officials in Huron County say the planned reopening for a century-old former rail bridge has been pushed back. It was supposed to reopen this month. Scott Miller has more on the delays.
The painstaking work of restoring parts of a 120-year-old former train bridge will continue into November, 2 months longer than initially expected.
It's a tentative date, but it's one that we're looking forward to because it has been a long haul to get here. It's been exciting in many ways, but also fairly arduous.
Since April, crews have been restoring the tops and bottoms of 4 gigantic piers that support the 250-ton Menasatang Bridge in Goderich. A 2020 engineering report found potentially serious structural issues with the monstrous bridge that spans the Maitland River.
The serious problem here is that the upper part of the piers were in danger of losing their strength around the bearing. And the other problem is lower parts of the piers were damaged by ice over the years and whatever.
Connolly, who has been watching the work very closely, says about 3/4 of the work on the upper piers is done, while about 2/3 of the lower piers have been completed. Extending the work made more sense than reopening as hoped in September.
The setup costs add to the costs of them coming back another time, and we really did not want to close the bridge another season.
It's estimated as many as 30,000 people use the 750-foot-long bridge each year. It's an integral part of the Guelph to Goddard's Trail, Maitland Trail, and Trans-Canada Trail, which is why protecting the tops and bottoms of the concrete pier supporting the gigantic structure is so important, say organizers. In Goderich, Scott Miller, CTV News.
When we come back, Donald Trump gets the royal treatment, his state visit to the UK, and the backlash it sparked across the pond. Canada's main stock index finished narrowly in positive territory today. The TSX up 6 points. In New York, the Dow added 260 and the Nasdaq fell 73. The Canadian dollar lost 0.07 cents on commodity markets. Gold dropped $7 an ounce. Oil down 46 cents a barrel. Major news tonight in the entertainment industry. Officials at ABC have taken Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air indefinitely after the late-night host suggested on air the person accused of killing Charlie Kirk might have been a pro-Trump Republican.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them.
The announcement came after Nexstar, a major operator of ABC stations, decided not to broadcast the show for the foreseeable future. The FCC chair also told a right-wing podcaster the government agency could actually revoke ABC affiliate licenses to force the network to punish Kimmel. For the time being, Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted by other programming. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump was met with plenty of pomp and pageantry on the first full day of his state visit to the UK. With more on his profoundly royal welcome, here's Joy Malbon.
From the roar overhead to the royal red carpet rollout, the U.S. President and First Lady arrived to a spectacular welcome, greeted by the young royals, King Charles and Queen Camilla, pulling out all the stops for an unprecedented second state visit by an American president. Designed to dazzle Donald Trump, a great admirer of the late Queen and royal family. With pageantry marked by full military honors, a stunning parade of British royal guards, and all of this taking place inside Windsor Castle for security. And to avoid this,
Donald Trump, you can't hide!
Tens of thousands of protesters in London and Windsor. Outraged over what they call Trump's divisive policies from immigration, Gaza to Ukraine, and angry that Trump is being given the royal treatment.
He's a convicted felon, a criminal sex offender. That is almost humiliating.
Projecting images of the president and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, the scandal even here rearing its head. But inside there was glitz and glamour, tiaras and tails at a lavish banquet, King Charles praising his guest of honor, toasting their shared history and deep ties between two nations, and thanking the president for seeking peace.
Tyranny once again threatens Europe. We and our allies stand together in support of Ukraine.
A not-so-subtle message to Trump, who vowed to end the war but has yet to come down hard on Russia. Clearly pleased with the highest honor of his life, the American president mostly stuck to the script.
To coin the phrase special relationship, but seen from American eyes, the word special does not begin to do it justice.
After a feel-good day of pomp and pageantry, tomorrow it's politics. From trade deals to tariffs and solidarity for Ukraine, the special relationship between the U.S. and the U.K. will be tested. And all of this in just 48 hours. Joy Malbon, CTV News, Windsor.
Good evening. Conditions across our region tonight clear, a bit milder through the overnight than it's been over the past couple of nights, but same weather pattern holding, a surface ridge and an upper ridge. That means lots of stability in the forecast. Thank you to Jennifer Foster for this photo of Beatrix and Hank. If you are heading out for a morning walk, expect sun-filled conditions. Stay with us. I'll take you through all your local forecast details coming up.
Welcome back on the desk now with Julie Atchison on another beautiful summer day. You know, we've been talking about how fall is right around the corner, but it's summer really sticking around, feeling beautiful.
And temperature-wise, looking out at the forecast models, even toward the end of the month, we're going to see temperatures above normal. So summer hanging on, although we will officially welcome fall on Monday. Today at 27 degrees. Beautiful conditions right across the region. Sunshine, not a whole lot in the way of cloud cover across the area. And we dropped down to 10 last night. Tonight, a couple degrees warmer than that. 12 degrees in London, 14 degrees in Port Stanley, Port Burwell. And as we head to Lake Huron, 14 degrees along the lake shore. Satellite radar keeping us in the clear. Now, we are under the influence of high pressure at the surface and in the upper atmosphere. That promotes intense stability in terms of sinking air and no weather moving in. Now, on the flip side, though, of the high pressure area, we do have low pressure that's moving through parts of the American Midwest in through the Dakotas tonight. You can see some showers moving towards Iowa. Now, a cold front that's dragging its way through northern Ontario today, really not a lot with it, other than a few spotty showers and a few pop-up thunderstorms. Now, as that front sinks south for us tomorrow, it's going to come into play with the dry air that's in place, and most of the precipitation just really falls apart. So not expecting a whole lot. Now, this forecast model showing a few showers in through Michigan with the frontal boundary. I'm expecting it'll come through our area with just some cloud cover. So we'll go from full sunshine in the morning to a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon as the front comes through. Tomorrow's going to be a hot one in most areas, with the exception of the Bruce Peninsula. It'll still be quite comfortable, but you'll notice the humidity as well through the day. So temperature-wise, we're going to come up into the upper 20s, and it will feel like the low 30s. By lunchtime, already 25 degrees. Winds will be light. As we head into the latter part of the day, that front will start to make the move, and eventually will shift the winds to the north. Your forecast highs towards Wyerton and along that lakeshore, anywhere from 22 to 24 degrees. And then as we head through the interior of Huron, Perth, 24 to 25. South of that, 28 degrees in London, St. Thomas. Along the Lake Erie shoreline, temperatures a touch cooler. Mix of sun and cloud heading into your Friday, and then we're down to 23. So that's the cold front coming through. That's the shift in the winds, and the temperature will dip just a bit. So comfort levels return. So tomorrow will be a hot one, definitely steamy in the afternoon, and it'll feel like we're just in the throes of summer. Friday will be comfortable at 23, 20 degrees on Saturday with a mix of sun and cloud. Mainly cloudy on Sunday and 26. A warm front comes in with a chance of nighttime rain and some milder temperatures. 24 degrees as we usher in the fall season. Mainly cloudy on Tuesday. Temperatures averaging above normal as we head into early next week. Daytime highs from about 23 to 24 degrees. Midwestern Ontario, a mix of sun and cloud for you tomorrow and a mix on Friday. Cooler conditions Friday and Saturday with a mix, and then we're back up Sunday. Increasing amounts of cloud cover as the warm front comes in. Dry conditions hold. Looking for rainfall. The next opportunity for showers coming in Monday, although those probabilities are extremely low. So cold front on the move, although all it brings for us is some cloud cover and a cooler day as we head into your Friday. Carlyle, back to you.
Thank you, Julie. The London Nationals won their home opener earlier tonight. They're now 3-0 on the season. It was their first chance to showcase their new look and hit the ice from their completely renovated dressing room. With more on their new digs, here's Brent Lale.
A new logo and a new look.
Welcome to the London Nationals' new dressing room. Well, we wanted a change, and we wanted to honor the people that work for the Canadian National Railway. 1961, they were the actual sponsor, and that's how it became the Nationals.
Owners Dean and Brenda Pomerleau, who bought the team in January, spent tens of thousands of dollars to upgrade to a professional environment.
We tried to use as many local people involved with cabinetry, staining, painting, everything. We went to a point of putting embroidery on every seat just to give it a little classier look. All the nameplates up top. We put the player, what country they're from, and what their hometown was. The Tron in the middle of the room is four-sided. It's controlled by the coach's room, so they can draw up plans, go over video and that. and the players can see everything on the Tron over the PA system.
We're in the back half of the dressing room. We've tried to create a very, very professional environment. We do have a trophy wall. To the right, my right, there's a therapy room. We do have a full-fledged kitchen where the team will prepare shakes and eat their meals after their game. And we do have a red light therapy sauna as well.
We're really excited. Some players haven't seen the room yet. None of them have seen the jerseys yet, so we're very excited to share this moment with them.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Finally tonight, the Grand Theater's high school project is back for its 27th year. It offers professional mentoring in all aspects of theater production for aspiring artists. Here's a preview of what they're working on this year, Disney's Newsies.
Newsies is a story about young people discovering their power. So it's set in 1899 in New York City. It's based on a true story of a group of newspaper sellers who were surprised when their bosses at the World newspaper hiked the price of newspapers to an unreasonable level. And they decided to strike. They actually inspired a general strike, so all of New York City shut down because of these kids' actions. So while it's on the surface a story about a bunch of boys and girls who come together to protest injustice in the workplace, it's actually about the power that young people have to change the world.
This year we processed through over 400 applicants for all of those roles and ended up with 61 young people that are a part of this process. So everything from props and wardrobe to stage management to photography and marketing to scenic art, as well as playing in the orchestra with the professional pit musicians. And then this production of Newsies has 38 young people on stage in the cast.
It has been so amazing. It's been so much fun just meeting all the cast, and I still remember the first day. If you're someone who wants to join theater and you're in high school, do the high school project, or at least audition, because even the audition was so much fun, and it's such a welcoming and warm community, and it has been so much fun. And buy tickets to Newsies.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.